Hi guys, welcome back. So today's video is going to be on the Nude Face Tape Foundation by Tarte. I have used it 2 ways already and I am going to talk about it, tell you what I think about it. So this one is a full coverage foundation. It's also supposed to be a natural matte finish, which I will talk about those 2 things. And this one is supposed to be a redo from the old one that they had. This one is $39. It does have a pump on it. The packaging is completely different from the old one. This one is the old one, which I had used before. The formula from this one is not the same at all. In case you have this one, you might feel like maybe they're the same, but they're actually very different from each other. This one has a thinner formula and it's also not as full coverage at all. Like at all. This one I would say is a little bit drier on my skin. Like you can see it's a little bit patchier. This one is a completely full coverage foundation. So the first time that I used it, I used a brush with it. I actually did a video using it for the first time and I did apply way too much product and I didn't know that it was going to be as full coverage as it was. And in that video, it was super obvious that it was completely full coverage, which with that, I have to 100% agree with that. It will hide every single thing that you have on your face. The tone of your face will be completely even. Like it is a completely full coverage foundation. So I am very happy about that because I love full coverage foundations. Recently though, I have been using more of the natural finishes, like the glowy kind, which I really like the Loreal and the Dior Skin Glow foundation. So this one's nothing like those. And I would say that it does have the natural matte finish that it says, but once you set it, it looks completely matte. So like I said, in that part or in that day, on that day, I applied it with my foundation brush, which blended out really easily. There was nothing weird about it, no streakiness. It just applied evenly. It looked nice. It looked flawless on my face. And like I said, it completely evened out my skin tone. It is a real full coverage foundation. At the end of the day, from that day, I noticed that it looked very cakey as it wore throughout the day. So I wasn't very happy with it. I was kind of like, this is probably going to be one of those cakey foundations that is just not going to work for me. Also, on some areas that I had a little bit more of dry skin around my mouth and also on my nose and in between my brows, those areas looked very texturized and like it was just too cakey. So what I figured is that the next time that I tried it, I wanted to use it with the beauty blender to see if it would make a difference, because that day it just looked too cakey. Now, even though I love full coverage foundations, I don't want them to look dry and cakey basically. So this time I applied it with the beauty blender, and that was actually this morning. So I applied it with the beauty blender and I only used 1 pump. Maybe I used 2 pumps today too. Yes, I did use 2 pumps. The last time I did use 2 pumps, about 2 pumps. It was brand new, so it wasn't really like coming out. But I did use 2 pumps and it was way too much for the brush. Like it was just a lot of product. This time whenever I applied it with the beauty blender, it was enough. And now it does soak up into the beauty blender a little bit, so that's why I guess it was enough to use 2 pumps. But the application of it is even more flawless. Like it looks even better. To me, it did thin it out just a tiny bit, but in a good way. It didn't thin it out to where it wasn't even or it wasn't full coverage. Just thins it out enough to where it applies even better on my skin type, because like I said, if I have dry areas, then it's going to show up even more on top of a cakey foundation. So with the beauty blender, it completely changes it. The application looks a lot better, and this is the way that I've been wearing it today for hours. I already filmed another video, which was the Fenty video, and I've already been editing and I've just been doing my thing today, and it's been about 6 hours since I applied it. So it has been, and it's not enough, it's not like 8 hours or 12 hours, but it has been a while. And I do see that the foundation looks really good, because the last time, after maybe 2 or 3 hours after wearing it, because I was looking at it just to see how it would look, it was already looking very weird and just like textury and cakey looking. And then with this time, it has been, like I said, about 5 or 6 hours. I filmed that, the first demo, or the demo for today, I filmed that this morning. Just looking at it right now, you guys, it looks so flawless. It looks almost the same as it did when I first applied it. It looks even a little bit better. Not that it got dewy, not that it got oily, or that it gives me a little bit of glow. It looks almost exactly the same, but there's no texture on my face that looks cakey like the way that it did whenever I applied it with the brush. So I will say that part, that for me and for my skin type, it looks so much better with the beauty blender. Today I also applied the the Shape Tape Concealer, and I also set it with the same powder, which is the Laura Mercier powder that I used last time. So everything was pretty much the same except for one thing. The last time I used the Hangover RX moisturizer, or the primer moisturizer, and this time I just applied the Hangover RX on my beauty blender with the spray. My sweater's falling off. This time I did spray my beauty blender with the Hangover RX spray, which is also very moisturizing on me. So they're pretty much the same thing, except one is like a cream, like a moisturizer, and this one is a spray. So like I said, that's what I used today. And then I also use it with these two products that are very new to me, so it's not like they're great, like I know 100% sure that they're amazing underneath my makeup, but even though I don't know that for sure yet, the foundation has been looking really, really good today. Last time, like I said, I used these two products too, and it didn't work well, but I think it was mainly the application method that I used, which was with the brush. But basically with this one, I do feel like it is exactly what it claims to be, full coverage. It looks completely flawless. I think that if you have dry skin, you will really like it. I don't know if you have combination or oily skin how well it will hold up, but on me it does not look like it's moving at all, not even a little bit, nothing at all. Even me applying makeup on top, there's no moving, there's no how do you say, like breaking apart, nothing like that. There isn't even any oil, and a lot of the times the main areas that I get a little oily is around my nose, over here, and also where I put my glasses on, and there's nothing. It's not even shiny anywhere. It looks pretty much like the way I applied it earlier. Like I said, sometimes it's hard to find a good foundation if you have dry skin and you try to use something full coverage, because it can look really bad or it can look really dry, just like it did whenever I applied it with the brush. So I'm glad that I didn't do just a first impression and I actually tried it both ways, because it just goes to show that it can look completely different depending on the application method that you use. So for sure I will be using this foundation with my beauty blender only, because I liked it better. Maybe if I would have applied a little bit less foundation with the brush, it would have looked fine. Maybe I have to try that out too. So for sure I like it way better with a damp beauty sponge, so that is how I'm going to be using this one the most. I'm pretty sure, like I said, I'll try it with the brush again, but just apply less product, because I did feel like I applied a lot. And overall, you guys, I don't have anything negative to say about it. It has been lasting so good throughout the day. Now, the last time that I applied it with the brush, at the end of the day, whenever I was about to take it off, I always look at my makeup and just see like what looks weird, or if anything, or how great my makeup still looks. So whenever I looked at it, I just looked full of foundation, like it was just too foundation looking, very cakey looking. Pretty much that's what it means, just cakey looking. And then looking at it today and the way that it's wearing, it just looks so good, so flawless. Now the last time whenever I applied it with the brush, it didn't move around either. It wasn't what did I just say earlier, the word? It wasn't breaking apart, but it did look cakey on my skin, and it did look kind of texturized on the dry areas. Today, it again doesn't look cakey. It doesn't look like it's breaking apart, but there is no cakiness to it at all. Not even around my mouth, not even on my nose. Like everything is still really, really good. So I am really liking this foundation. I think it's worth a try. If you have dry skin, I think you'll like it, because the application, whenever you're applying it for the first time, like I said, with the beauty blender it works better for me, or the beauty sponge it works better for me, but whenever you're applying it, it doesn't feel like, let's say like a thick foundation like the Kat Von D Lock It Tattoo, or like other thick foundations that are very full coverage. It doesn't feel like that at all. It actually feels a little moisturizing. Like the formula of it is not too liquidy, but not too thick either, so it's like right in the middle, and it blends out so easily, and you can feel it on your face that it's pretty moisturizing. One thing I will say is that it's not super lightweight. I can feel the foundation on my skin. Like let's just say the Dior Skin Glow foundation and the L'Oreal Fresh Wear, those are the most used ones that I've been using recently. Those feel very lightweight. So this one doesn't feel the same way. This one feels a little bit more like I am wearing foundation, and the way that it looks in person, you can tell that I have like a full face of makeup, you know, not that it looks bad, but you can tell that I'm wearing foundation. Like yes, I have a very full coverage foundation. You can see that. I don't think I mentioned it earlier, but I did get it in the color 22N Light Neutral, just in case you're wondering, and I will leave my other foundation shades for reference in case we have the same skin tone, or you may think, you know, it can help you out. I will have other foundation brands and shades in the description box. But yes, you guys, that is pretty much it for this video. I hope it helped you out. I think it is definitely worth a try. If you like full coverage foundations, and if you have dry skin, I think it will really work for you. Like I said, I don't know about the other skin types, but I can just guess that it might, just because it stays put and it looks pretty matte and it just doesn't seem like it's gonna go anywhere. So yes, for sure with dry skin it works, and like I said, not super lightweight but still comfortable on your face. So guys, those are pretty much my thoughts on this foundation. Let me know what you think about it, and if you're thinking of picking it up. Do you even like full coverage foundations? I know I love them, but not everybody does, especially if they're like really flawless looking and full coverage. Flawless always sounds great, but whenever you say full coverage in front of it, it's like, how full coverage is it? Like, is it cakey? You know, but to me, it's a really good formula and it looks really good on my skin, and that is speaking for my dry areas too. So yeah, looks great to me. Let me know what you think about it. Are you thinking about picking it up? And again, thank you so much for watching another video. I will see you in tomorrow's. Bye.